One of the most influential toys of this decade, the Squishmallows line of plush have completely taken over the plush market, having become an overnight worldwide success and being loved by children and collectors alike, all while taking over valuable shelf space from even its biggest competitors, practically wiping out what remained of Ty's Beanie Boos in the process. But how do we get here? How did this simple round plush become such a pop culture icon so quickly? To begin the Squishmallows story, we travel back to the 80s, specifically the year 1986, where we see the founding of Cwitchy, the company that would eventually develop the Squishmallows plush. Ironically, this was also the exact same year Ty, the creator of the Beanie Babies, was also founded. Cwitchy would go on to be a fairly successful American plush manufacturer, and would find general success in their lines, though there was never any one specific plush in their line that was alone a crazy success. That is, until the late 2010s. Now, there's no true predecessor to the Squishmallows plush, at least Cwitchy has never officially claimed there to be one. However, I've dug up what may be the predecessor to it, that being the Cwitchy's block plushes. Very similar to the modern day Squishmallows in materials and also coming in a variety of sizes, but in this case it was made in a square as opposed to the circular design that we know and love today. They were seemingly released in early 2016, but in all honesty, I could be wrong as there's very little about these that exists on the internet. As a matter of fact, this one giant purple unicorn cow thing that I'm using as an example does not exist on the internet at all. This is now currently the only piece of online media to contain footage of it as far as I know. Also, don't question what it's doing in my house, it just appeared here one day. It wouldn't be until March 1st of 2017 that the first wave of plush would drop, releasing in 8 styles, referred to as the First Squad, containing the characters of Hoot, Ollie, Piper, Puff, Hans, Wendy, Fifi, and the company poster child Cameron, or Cam the cat. Each of these character styles released in 4 sizes, with the smallest at 3.5 inches, these being clip-ons for backpacks and keys and things, the largest at 16 inches, and an 8 and 13 inch sizes filling in the middle area. Each Squishmallow also came with a unique hang tag that would include a collector's number, a squish date of when the character was initially released, and a character bio. While we're still on the subject of hang tags, it disappoints me that on recent Squishmallows, they no longer put a collector's number or squish date, but more importantly, they don't put character bios on licensed plush, which I find highly disappointing, as I think it would be hilarious when they accidentally say something like, "Sonic the Hedgehog lives in Green Hill Zone," and get attacked by whatever fanbase the plush is from. Basically peak comedy scenarios that we'll never get to witness. Oh well, such is life. Cwitchy would continue to add to the Squishmallows range, with new characters and fresh new lines, starting with a baby lineup in April of 2018 that featured softer pastel colors and rattles that would shake when you rattle them, and in May releasing a Stackables line, which is basically like the block plushes all over again. Also noteworthy is that within the first 9 months, over 5 million Squishmallows had already been sold, which is impressive. As an example, that's how many Ford Econoline vans have been sold up until now according to Wikipedia. Continuing into 2019, Cwitchy would enter a strategic partnership with Jazzwares to help boost sales and get Squishmallows onto more store shelves. Remember the Jazzwares name though, they'll be important a little bit later on. Also in 2019, multiple holiday-themed Squishmallows would hit the store shelves, a trend that continues to this day. And the Hug-Me's line of plush, which were made to look more like a traditional teddy bear style plush, would also debut this year. In 2020, it would be announced that over 50 million Squishmallows had been produced. They literally added a 0 to 2019's number. That's nearly how many Toyota Corollas, the world's highest selling car mind you, have been sold in total at the time of writing this. On top of that, even more new lines would continue to be added, including Flipmallows, a line of reversible 2-in-1 Squishmallows. Remember back when these things were a trend? A line of mystery bags, a theme song which feels like an extended version of some mid-2010s animated kids show theme, which is alright, but it's definitely not a Lost Kitties theme song. Sorry Jazzwares, but Hasbro has got you beat here. But wait, Jazzwares? Why yes, Jazzwares indeed, for they've taken full ownership of Cwitchy toys in this year as well. whom I do blame on the loss of the hang tag content, but on the plus side, it means we get a whole ton of licensed Squishmallows, like a whole lot, starting in 2020 and continuing onward, but we'll get right back to that. A few other small things that happened before the end of 2020 include a music video contest that I honestly couldn't care less about, the first limited editions being released on their website, an Everyday Heroes range containing 6 characters because it's 2020, and a Squish-Doos squad with some crazy hairstyles that could only have ever existed in the 80s and should not be existing right now. Take these abominations away. For 2021, the big release would be the Squishville lineup, basically turning the Squishmallows line into a pocket-sized versions of themselves, and be released alongside buildings for them to live in and accessories for them to squish into and to use. Kinda like Calico Critters, but you can cram your whole collection into your pants. There's even these fairly interesting looking vehicles, but hey, could be worse. At least the ones that are actual cars seem to be 50s based. Basically flattenable versions of the Shopkins cutie cars. Also released alongside the Squishville was a series of short YouTube animations built upon this theme. Based on a quick review of the channel, it looks like it got some traction, but not nearly enough to warrant the series, and most of the videos on that channel are just remixes of the exact same 1.5 dozen 2-minute episodes. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, it simply follows an assorted group of Squishmallows with veggie tails, walk physics, and also pretty much no passion was put into the creation of this show, from what I could tell. I do know, but I may have to do a whole video on these, so like and subscribe if you'd like to see me yell at a low-budget YouTube Kids animation that's secretly an advertisement for Plush. Other noteworthy things that happened in 2021 as far as Squishmallows go include a licensing agreement with Sanrio, I'll get back with you in the licensed Plush section, something about supporting a certain Silverado high school,
a brand new Silverado,
and celebrating their 100 millionth Squishmallow milestone with the release of a gold Hans the Hedgehog. Recently, Squishmallows as a brand have continued to grow. Though not nearly as many spin-off series as there once were, they continue to acquire new licensed brands to turn into Plush, alongside partnering up with Eastside Games to create a mobile game, though no news on when or if that's coming out. Also, Squishmallows are in Roblox. Who'da thunk it? In 2023, they'd become a McDonald's Happy Meal toy, quality materials not included. A line of scented mystery plush were also released in 2023, and oh, there was also a line based off NFTs. As of August of 2024, over 400 million Squishmallows have been produced, which at a time of writing, which is the very beginning of 2025, I'd suspect that that number is probably closer to 500 million by now. That's basically 1/10 of all Hot Wheels ever produced. Honestly, really quite impressive. I couldn't find any solid numbers, but I suspect that there's probably more Squishmallows than Beanie Babies by this point. Speaking of which, Ty, the creator of Beanie Babies and Beanie Boos, have been vanishing from store shelves ever since the 2020s, so I wouldn't put it past Squishmallows for playing a fairly large part in that, though they also stopped producing the Icy the Harp Seal plush. So, you know what? They had it coming for them. A recent phenomenon that you may or may not have noticed in the collectors community is that the Squishmallows have been a really hot commodity on the second-hand market in the past couple of years, especially over the pandemic era, with some going for crazy money on places like eBay. Given their collectability, many resell for exceptionally high prices, including original releases of characters, certain licensed plush, specific hard-to-come-by releases, and of course the limited editions, like Jack the Black Cat or the notorious JSK Cat. Also on the subject of rare mellows, I gotta bring up the prototype Squishmallows, of which there's a surprisingly lot of floating about. Often they will look like regular production Squishmallows, but denotated by their often handwritten tags. Of course, this is not always the case. Some are straight unique one-offs and sometimes won't have any tags at all, but nonetheless, these have been known to occasionally pop up at random thrift stores and apparently even Walmarts. Which sounds awesome, but I live in Canada, so I don't think I'm going to be finding any prototypes up here in this barren wasteland of snow. However, this brings me back to eBay, where there are even right now some legitimate prototypes up for sale. At the moment they're all under one seller who's appeared to have acquired a lot of them through sources unknown, but I wouldn't call them terribly priced for one-off conversation pieces. Okay, I won't hold off any longer. Let's talk about the license plush. And oh boy, is there a ton of it. The first licensed plush from what I could gather was actually a Disney licensed item, the child from the Star Wars The Mandalorian, and from that point on, the licensed merchandise has grown tenfold. Now obviously the best of all the licensed lines is the Sonic the Hedgehog range, and if you disagree you'll have to fight all of DeviantArt and Chris Chan. But going past that, some of the other most popular ranges include the Pokemon Squad with Pikachu at the helm, and fun fact, there are actually 2 different releases of Pikachu, with the first wave containing a non-winking, smiling Pikachu, and a winking, open-mouth Pikachu in the second wave. Obviously, I have both because I'm a madman who's 100 meters away from your location and approaching rapidly. Another highly successful range is the Sanrio Squad, which, for those of you who don't know, is basically Hello Kitty, along with a few other assorted characters. There have been a large assortment of releases for the Hello Kitty characters, ranging from specialty one-off releases to holiday specials. But what I really want to bring up is that there's somehow only one release for the greatest of all time himself, Choco Cat. Like, every other character has had multiple releases and variations, yet somehow not my boy Choco Cat. Even Tuxedo Sam has had multiple releases, but not Choco Cat. The only Sam I care about drove an 80s Ford truck and founded Walmart. That has nothing to do with this. Justice for Choco Cat. Anyway, rant out of the way, now I'd like to quickly mention some other licensed releases that I found funny. Starting off with the chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. I don't know how or why, but I appreciate that these exist. Also rip Charlie Munger. Next up there's SpongeBob and Patrick. SpongeBob reminds me of the Fugler version of himself that released not too long ago. That's probably a bad thing. There are obviously a lot of Disney and Pixar plush. What I find really funny is that the only 2 options for the Incredibles line are Jack Jack and Edna. Edna! 10 out of 10, this is the best plush ever. There's also a Ryan's World line, because of course there is. Looping back to Sonic again, I just want to complain that Dr. Eggman wasn't released in the first wave, which I'm surprised by. I mean, come on, Squishmallows are egg-shaped to start with. This should have made perfect sense. It came out in the second wave though, so I'll stop arguing. And lastly, there was 2 exclusives released in the McDonald's Happy Meal line, those being Hamburglar and more importantly, Grimace. Absolutely peak. Speaking of licensed merch, Squishmallows have been licensing out their own brands to others as well, and we've got quite a lot of weird and wacky merchandise to talk about. Now, obviously there are some simple ones like those squishy and stretchy rubber things that you squish and stretch, and the collector's book, things that I personally own, but also plenty of clothing like shirts and even hats of the characters, in particular a weird obsession with bucket hats, but hey, who am I to judge? There are collector's cards, which tends to happen to every brand at some point, and this is also how you'd get the JSK cat, by finding a card for it that you'd use to claim your $2,000+ plush cat. One of the more odd items would be Squishmallows slime. Like, I thought his trend died already, but nope, guess slime is still here. Another oddball item would be the beanbag chairs. Memo to self, replace gaming chair with one of these. Squishmallows backpacks would be an obvious one. Not obvious would be Squishmallows pet beds and toys. There's even a few board games that have been released over the years, including both their own designs, but also Monopoly and Clue. There has been a release of Big Bands that are Squishmallows, also this blanket. And to finish this section off, why buy a pair of earmuffs when you can have Winston headphones? I'd totally use these. Now, I'd just like to quickly talk about a few that I have here. For example, Winston. Except I call him Wilson because I haven't grown out of Chuggington.
Wilson, something's wrong. Wilson? Wilson!
This is George. Yes, that is definitely his actual name, do not correct me. This one is festive. Cam. Also Cam, but big and wrong colors. Shadow. Tuxedo Sam, but he's not as good as Choco Cat. Massey Ferguson 8000 series tractor plush. Wendy's Krabby Patty. Rocky, but I'm calling him Rambly because yes. Fake knockoff. And Seal. He's not a Squishmallow, but he's a good seal and he keeps my hats warm. Also, not in my collection, but I really want this fancy Zuby the octopus. I mean, just look at that mustache. Maybe if this video hits 1 million views within 3 months I'll buy it. Actually, if we hit 1 mil within a month, I'll also buy the prototype Bigfoot as well, and do a review on it. Consider this a challenge to make me buy stuff. And to finish up, I'd like to talk about some IRL non-merch related things. Starting with the Squishmallows truck. This is a food truck converted to sell Squishmallows from what I could gather, and seems to be used mainly as promotional material at large events and toy shows and things. Now, I don't know about you, but I would totally own and daily drive this. I don't care that the neighbors would complain when I park this outside my building, this would be awesome. Oh, and then there's this monster. This is Cam, but he now has arms and legs and will now haunt my nightmares. Thankfully, he's also only at promotional events, and since I live in the place of never-ending snow, I'll never have to see this abomination in real life. Means I won't ever see the truck either, but yeah, you know what? I'll take that trade-off. Also, there's a 3D model of this truck too? Where can I get this? One last minute add-in, we've just recently got a Squishmallows mini collectibles series that's kinda like Shopkins all over again. They're called Squish-a-longs, a weird name but I don't judge. But more importantly, they're small collectible mystery figures that come in mystery packs as well as larger packs and even have little clip-and-go storage cases. I guess if you're here from the Shopkins video and looking for the next best thing to replace them with, here you go. Also, clown spotted. Hey, this is Last Minute Cartoonist Key. I'm bringing an update here. I bought some of the Squishmallows Squish-a-longs. And yes, I am recording using the BlackBerry Bold. 2 figures, 1 accessory, that's what you get. Series 1, let's open them. Got my trusty cutting thing here. Open! Ooh, fancy. I was opening it from the wrong side. Ha. Come on, open. Crack. What is this packaging? This is like what you get when you buy wrapping that you get on like mugs and things when you buy them from thrift stores. Alright, first one we got. Looks like a turtle. I don't really care. Oh, wait, hold on. See this? Which one are we looking for? Who's our limited edition super rare one? Okay, these are the ones we're looking for. We're probably not going to get any of them, but whatever. Oh, and we want the clown, because I don't know why. Might as well. Actually, there's a ton of these here. Look at all of them. Wow. Yeah, okay. No time like the present. And we've got, like, a Dalmatian. Okay. And this is going to be the accessory, I think? Oh, yeah, this is, like, a ring thing. You can make them into rings. See? Put this on, lock it. And then, oh, fancy. Yeah, okay. Round 2. Packaging be gone. Open. There we go. Oh, okay. Oh, that's the accessory thing. Interesting cutter, don't care. And it looks like, I don't know, a sheep or a llama or something? I don't know. Interesting. Okay, last chance to get like a super rare one. Whoa. Okay, well that's a cute little fella. Okay, well I guess that's everybody we got. Yeah, was that worth my $15? Probably not. Okay. Okay, pack them up. Let's get out of here. Okay, see ya. Squishmallows will continue to be a bestseller for many years to come. Honestly, they're most likely going to become yet another staple toy, like Lego and Hot Wheels. There's no doubt that they'll continue to be successful in the near future, and will continue to outperform the competition, or at least until Disney buys them out. I look forward to seeing what new original and licensed plush they may come up with. The opportunities are endless. Who knows what the future may hold? And with that, thanks for sticking around to the end. I hope you enjoyed this ramble about a silly plush brand. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell for any notifications. Now, I'm going to go and blow up a luxury mansion and tear down, but until next time, be kind to retail employees and have yourself a great day. Insert jingle noises here.